Welcome to another episode of the Quilty Friends podcast. Today's guest is Johnny's friend Robyn Tischner, and here's your host, Johnny Barfus. Because I kind of yelled at him. Huh. Sure.
It wasn't very intimidating.
Yelling. We are recording now. Yeah. I can clip that part out, though. Okay. Hi. Welcome to another episode of the Quilty Friends podcast. We have to be close, though.
I know. I was
okay.
Like, can you see me? Am I going to be
You're going to be fine. No. We just go like that to make sure you're seeing. Okay. Hi. This is my friend, Robyn Tischner. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thanks for coming all the way out.
Oh, you know.
It's been a really fun morning. I'm going to do crazy eyes.
He opened the door and the dogs got out.
Yeah, I was letting Robyn in and she was letting the dogs smell her, which is very nice of her.
And then they took off.
Naughty dogs. They just took off running. So they're right here behind us now. But so it's been an eventful morning. I've been running all over the neighborhood, driving, screaming, hollering, all the things. It's fine. Sorry about it. Okay. Nope, it's all right. So I have a list of questions right here. Oh, here they are. Okay. This is just kind of like general questions.
Okay.
But we can talk as long as we want because we're friends, right?
It's true. It's true.
She just told her daughter, I'm with Johnny. I could be a couple hours. It's fine.
She goes, no, she said, you're going to be talking to Johnny about quilting for 5 hours? And I said, well,
like, yeah.
It is me and Johnny. So
we could.
It's true.
So we'll try to go 5 hours, but if we do, it's fine. Okay. First off, how do we know each other? Funny story.
So we worked at the Quilters Lodge together, and
I
had worked there, and then they said, we have someone who's coming in to work with merchandising.
Uh-huh.
And so there'll be someone else here. It's a man named Johnny. And I was like, oh, okay.
A man named Johnny.
And so we didn't really work together that much until one Saturday. And if you've ever been to the Quilters Lodge, it's quite spectacular.
Very gorgeous.
And someone had come in and they said, they said, oh my gosh, we've never been here. And Johnny said, are you taking the General Splendor? Which is totally Pride and Prejudice reference. And I was like, Johnny, how come we are not best friends? He said, oh, I thought we were.
And from that moment, well,
best friends.
Yeah, best friends. BFF.
And you are in my phone as Johnny NBF for new best friend.
Oh, well, thank you. It's still that way.
It's still that way.
That's awesome. Does that mean you haven't had any new best friends since then?
No, it's very sad.
Oh, dear. So, yeah, the Lodge.
The Lodge.
We were talking about how I love to play country music.
Yes, and
Carrie
serenade us with the Carrie Underwood. It's true.
I miss singing to the Carrie Underwood for sure. Because there was a lot of Carrie Underwood. It was so fun.
Oh, yeah. It's true. And that one playlist that would play the Thai song.
Yes. Oh, the playlist. Anyway. Thanks. Okay. And then I have something to think about. So I was just going to talk about, because I usually try to do a little mean then, but we'll just talk because February, we're highlighting Black makers.
Yes, true.
So I said, hey, I want to talk about Latifah Saafir. And she goes,
oh my gosh, I love her. I'm teaching a class on her curved ruler.
Yeah.
True story.
So Latifah Saafir is very well known. Well,
for her curved ruler.
The curved ruler. Yes. Oh, that's a really small picture of that.
But you can see.
Yeah. So
the clam glam ruler.
The clam glam ruler, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened there. Hold on. The clam glam ruler, and it comes in different sizes, and makes super cute things like that.
Awesome, cute things. I made that many times.
So you are doing a class not on that exact ruler. Wait, that
exact ruler,
just a different pattern.
So what you might know is Latifah is an engineer.
Yeah.
And so that ruler is engineered perfectly to fit together all the curve shapes.
Oh, okay.
So you can do a quarter circle, a half circle, a full circle.
Right.
And that clam shape there.
So you said she's an engineer. Did you follow her blog before when it was the Quilt Engineer many years ago?
I don't think I did.
So back in the day when blogs were the thing, she had a blog called the Quilt Engineer. And she made the cutest, oh my gosh, just the cutest thing. She would make a quilt, and then she would make like a beach ball, like a quilt she made a gift for a baby. She'd make a matching beach ball.
Cute.
Like round, and then anyway, she just had the cutest things. So when I saw her again on Instagram, she kind of gone with Latifah Saafir instead of quilt engineer. So anyway, yeah, I just loved her for a long time.
Well, I like that you don't have to trim up after, because it fits perfectly.
Right.
And you do have to keep a good seam allowance.
I should take that class.
You should, because
I'm working on curved seams with my clothing that I'm working on.
Yes, it's true.
Oh, sheesh. Anyway, let's show some more of the things that there's a view of the ruler, and then she's just using it for that design. So that's a new pattern, you said. And this is that same one in that same design.
Yes, it's so cute.
Shape in that layout. So I love that.
I love it.
And then this is just something that she's been doing recently.
Yes, the half square rectangles.
Yes, half square rectangles.
I guess half square rectangles is kind of, but
that's what they call them. It's fine.
It's true.
It's fine, right? Anyway, so shout out, to Latifah Saafir. If you're not following her already, check her out on the Instagrams at Latifah Saafir Studios. I'm going to get rid of that picture. Okay. Now we're back to us. And your class is, this is going to air in a couple of weeks. A couple of days.
It's not till May.
Okay, the class is in May at the Quilters Lodge. So people can reach out to the Quilters Lodge if they'd like to take that class.
If you want to learn the skill,
Robyn's a great teacher.
It's like a drunkard's path.
You're doing a drunkard's path.
Because a quarter of the circle is a drunkard's path. Right. Which many applications you can use. Yeah. For. And then building up to a full circle. So.
All right. I want to do circular. I have a few circular, circle quilt tops. But anyway, that's another story. Okay. What are you reading / watching / listening to right now? Is there a podcast, a book you're watching, a TV show?
I have restarted the Game of Thrones.
Oh, Game of Thrones, huh?
Because, it's just...
I've never watched it.
Because when you're sewing, it's good to have a show you've already watched so that you actually keep sewing. But then a show that you're like, I don't remember that happening.
Right. That's me for movies a lot.
Yeah.
You said you're sewing. What are you sewing? I was going to tell you to bring something you're working on.
Oh, no. It's just store samples. Not very exciting.
Well, hopefully Lisa doesn't hear that.
Well, it's not like my own creative coming out.
So you're working on store samples.
Yes, on store samples. But I am going to be making the Drunkard's Path quilt for my kids. So for my class. So that's going to be my next.
All right.
Tackling the curves all over again, sort of thing.
Awesome. So speaking of being a maker, what's your earliest memory of making?
My grandmother, my dad's mom, she was always making. She was always making, and she would get coloring books and trace the pictures from the coloring books and embroider those onto little baby blankets and stuff. Oh, cute. And so I used to just sit and watch her, and then probably when I was like 7 or 8, I finally convinced her to let me try it. It was not so good, but she let me try. Okay. I remember going to my dad saying, I don't know how to separate the embroidery flaps to be just 2 threads, and him having to call my grandmother and saying, what's she doing here? What is she doing? Yes. And so, funny things like that. And then when my maternal grandmother, she did needlepoint. And you would think I would have the patience for needlepoint. Did not. No. And then, so I didn't really, but she did one Christmas give us the latch hook rug kits. Remember from the 80s with the tigers? Yeah. Yes. So we did those. But when I was 12, I went to my grandmother's house and she taught me to sew. Like I was 11 or 12. And I learned the very valuable lesson is that you don't watch the needle. Okay. So my seam allowances were terrible. Oh, okay. And she was just kind of like, what are you doing? Like, she would think that I would know. Right. And she's like, don't watch the needle. Watch the edge of your fabric on this,
okay. I get what you're saying.
So, yeah. So that one.
All right.
But she taught me to sew.
Your maternal grandmother?
My paternal grandmother.
Oh, she taught you to sew?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, what do you remember the first thing you ever made, like for yourself, or?
Well, that time we made a pair of overalls.
Okay.
And what was funny is I was at a quilt guild meeting and somebody brought like all these old patterns and I'm just rifling through them to see. And the pattern for the overalls. And it's like one of, it's like in the Pixar movie where the memories just fly forward. It was like that. Like I hadn't thought about it in years, but I saw that picture. I knew exactly what it was and exactly what I made. And it was over 4th of July weekend, and I got lost coming home from the parade, from the fireworks. And it was a whole
thing.
It was the whole thing, just whoosh, just like in the movie.
Like just the image on the front of the pattern.
Yes,
that's funny.
Exactly.
Because those things are so iconic, I guess you'd say. Like if you see one, I mean, you know it's a pattern, but if you see the exact one, you're like, oh
yes,
God, okay,
yes, exactly.
That's funny. I can hear the I can hear the Pixar music in the background. Okay, awesome. So when did you know that you fell in love with sewing? Like, was there a time when you're like, oh my gosh, I really like this?
Well, when I was in high school, I would draw out like dress designs, and I always wanted to make one. And then I made one with my grandmother after I graduated from high school. It's a black velvet dress, and I did beading on it. It was all very fancy. And then,
do you still have that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what became of it, but it was like I'm gonna actually try to make it, sort of thing.
Yeah. And
I did, but then, I think I think people look at me and know that that's part of who I am. Do you know what I mean?
Like sewing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like that's.
Yeah.
Like you can see somebody and say, that's who they are. I think people have always kind of been, she's
you're like, she's a sewer. She's a seamstress.
Yeah.
So you are what they call a heirloom seamstress,
it's
right?
True. It's true.
So where did you learn all those techniques? Just from your grandma, or?
No,
Wait a minute. So for anyone who might know, what does heirloom seamstress mean?
It's the very, very traditional, like the smocking and the lace piecing and the hem tucks and the pin tucks and all of, like, I think the heirloom term might be heirloom in the technique, or heirloom in the style, or heirloom in the fabrication, maybe. Like it's something that you will pass down, you will save, or something that if you went back in time, you would say,
they were doing
that
ruching.
Sort of yeah.
So
that sort of thing.
Do you still do a lot of those things?
No, because
like smocking.
My girls got big.
Oh yeah, you made a lot of dresses for your girls, so you have 4 girls.
Yes, well, see, my cousin, her best friend is a smocker.
Okay.
And when I'd go hang out with my cousin and her friend was there, she was always pleating something, sewing something. And so when I was having Aubrey, I wanted her blessing dress to be smocked.
Cute.
And so she taught me like the basic steps of how to do it. And I kind of thought that was going to be it. And then there was a lady one day in church, and I'm sitting next to her, and she was smocking. And I was like, I know how to do that. And she's like, oh yeah. She was making collars for her girls' violin recital. Okay. And I was like, I know how to do that. And she's like, oh yeah, I done this for years. And so then I started being friends with her, and she did not have a serger, so she couldn't finish the seams on her dresses. So we worked out a deal where she would pleat my fabric, and then I would serge her dresses together. I had industrial serger. Yeah. And it was like a symbiotic. Oh, nice. And she gave me the So Beautiful magazine with all the smocking plates. So it became a thing where if there was a holiday, I was always sewing something for my girls. Because also the fun thing about the smocking and the heirloom sewing is you can get the cheapest fabric. Right. But the technique will make it look really rich and
really
fancy.
Elevates it.
So, stay-at-home mom with 3 little girls and a husband who's gone working all the time. It was a way to look like I had lots of money to spend on the girls without having the money to spend. Right. And it's also one of those things like heirloom seam, smocking and the heirloom seems just like, if you like it, you either pay a lot for it or you learn to do it. Right. So I learned to do it.
Did you, so back to the blessing dress, did they all wear the same dress? Or
No,
did you make a different one for all three?
You know, I made a different one for all four of them.
That's like my sister Laurie. Oh my gosh.
And and it's the same with Halloween. Like your Halloween costumes, nobody ever wore the same Halloween costume.
Nobody repeated the next year or like years later?
No, because, and I know it's not normal way to think. But
it's normal for some people.
but like that's such a snippet of that thing that they love at that time. And I'm not a scrapbooker.
Right.
So I'd rather save that memory in like a garment or a quilt or than have it in a book on a shelf.
Right.
So
I love that.
So like I can see Aubrey's Towdrell cost princess.
Her what?
She couldn't say the consonants with the back of her throat. So she said Towdrell instead of cowgirl.
Towdrell, okay.
And the Towdrell princess, gosh. Like
cowgirl princess?
Yes, I made her like a satin shirt with pearl button, like pearl snap buttons, and like a vest with tassels and shorts and pink cowgirl boots and a pink cowgirl hat and a little crown on top. And
oh my goodness.
You know, you see that and you just remember her when she was 4 and couldn't say cowgirl. And it just, And somebody wanted to borrow it once. And I remember seeing them at the word trunk or treat going, no, that's Aubrey.
Right.
That's not Isabel, it's Aubrey.
Yeah.
You know, like, give it back.
You didn't lend any out after that.
No, learned about
my sister was the same way. Like, my mom was the same way too. My mom made most of my Halloween costumes, and I can think back. Sorry, I'm laughing because have you seen that Onion article where it's Halloween costumes for your effeminate child? You remember that one?
No, it does sound like a good time though.
I should post it so if you haven't seen it, I'll maybe put a comment or a link or something. It's ridiculous, but it's how to hide your your son's femininity. So it's like a robot. Anyway, it's all these things that kind of.
And your mom made each of those for you?
Yeah, I was a robot. I was a Rubik's Cube. I just laugh. I'm like, right on there, Mom. Right on. It's fine. But my mom made lots of costumes. My mom was an amazing costumer. She did roadshow costumes. They did, all stuff like that. And then my sister, she took over kind of with her. She had 5 girls, and so she would do these every Halloween when they're little, they're kind of like these themed outfits, like Pooh, Tigger. Oh yeah, we did. The Tigger costume was, but she was taking sweatshirts and turning them upside down for the legs and just all kinds of fun stuff like that. So I just loved watching that creativity from this side, I guess. I would have loved watching your creativity as well.
Oh yeah, you would have been
the girls.
Well, and my parents worked for the Freedom Festival.
Oh, the Freedom Festival. And if anyone's been to the Freedom Festival, then tell the yellow. What is it about yellow and red, white, and blue? Oh, well, let's circle back. We'll circle back to the yellow.
For the Freedom Festival, there were all these events we had to go to. There was the parade, there was the patriotic service, there was the, So I ended up making them whole entire 4th of July wardrobes.
So they had something different for each
event? They had something different for each event that were all hand smocked or totally over the top, not necessary, but adorable,
obviously.
Adorable. Yes, but my mom, if you're Utah County person, my mom is the Hope of America lady. She started the Hope of America.
So mom was Hope of America lady.
Yes, and so she gets all the 5th graders. She teaches them all patriotic songs because in 5th grade you learn about American history.
Yeah.
And then they all sit in the shape of a flag at the Marriott Center.
Right.
So anyone who doesn't fit in the flag, it's yellow around. So
Oh, I didn't know that was the yellow.
Because, like a tassel on a flag, sort of.
Right.
Yeah, but it was, everyone sits in yellow around the flag.
Like gold.
Yes.
Like gold on the flag.
Like a gold, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So
but does that mean they didn't make the cut? Like, either you're in the flag or you're out?
Yeah, it was a big deal to have a blue shirt versus a yellow shirt, because there's so many yellow.
If you got stuck with a yellow shirt, I'm sorry for you.
Yellow shirts are cute. But, yeah, but that's why. And so, that's why my flag quilts always have some yellow in it.
So you've made flag quilts and put yellow in. Mm-hmm. You made flag quilts for all your girls? All my girls and my siblings. I made them for my siblings as well. Cute. So they can remember Mom. Cute. I should make one of those quilts because they're really cute. It's pretty cute. Let's go. Okay. So sewing. Little girls. Mm-hmm. Was there a time when you noticed that it would help with your mental health? Or has it just always been a part of your life? Well, it has always been a part of my life, but also, like I said, my husband was gone. He traveled for work, and he'd be gone for, like when they were little, he'd be gone for 6-8 weeks at a time. Oh my gosh. And it was just me and the little kids. Right. And where we lived, it was like everyone was the same age. Everyone was in the same stage. Right. Everyone was having kids. Everyone, like at church, there weren't any deacons to pass the sacrament because everyone had little kids. Everyone was in the same. Yeah. And it was very cliquey, very high school. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't. I couldn't do it. And I think that's a theme that has continued on with you. Oh, yes, for sure. We don't like cliques. We don't like... No. Yeah. So I think when I started sewing for my girls, it was like almost like to prove my worth, sort of. Mm-hmm. Like I have something, and I think that's why I started entering into the state fair as well. Oh, like, no, not only but do I enjoy making this, but I'm good at this, and to prove I'm good at this, right? I'm going to enter it into the fair. Yeah, I get that. And 75 blue ribbons later. 75 blue ribbons. I was going to say, and then you count all the rest. I mean, any other lower ribbons than blue ribbons. You don't tabulate that. No, because they're. And what's funny is Aubrey. Oh wait, there's only blue ribbons. Is that what you're saying? No, there are other. There are other. There's a majority of blue, but there are other. But like when you're like the only one entering the heirloom sewing category, they have no other Tischner, choice again. It was like Aubrey when we'd go to the state fair. If there was ever a second place, or second place is red, right. And then there's white for third place, and then there's the dreaded pink honorable mention. And if there was ever the pink honorable mention, should go anything really? Less than not quite. And Troy will say, like I'm like, oh, I'm having a hard time with this. I don't know if I should pick it, if I should start from scratch. And goes, just cost yourself blue ribbon. Like, okay, fine. Okay, fine. Well, that's awesome. I've never entered any of the fair, but yeah. Yeah, but so like, that was when they were little. And then when Alexa was 4, I went to work being a prototype seamstress. The prototypes. Mm-hmm. And then it was like working in a corporate place and with corporate people. And then even though you're working in a creative field, you're not really being creative. Right. And it was just kind of like draining. Right. And my girls are getting bigger. Did it suck the soul out of you? Mm-hmm. It did a little. I remember Alexa was 4, so I wasn't really. Aubrey was 14, so I wasn't really sewing for them very much. Mm-hmm. And I was working, so what takes away your sewing time. Yeah. And I had gone to a quilt retreat, my first quilt retreat. Like I took a break from work and thought I'm going to try to do this again. Mm-hmm. And that was good, and that was fun. Mm-hmm. But because of that quilt retreat, I made friends with quilty people, and that's Quilty just a people. Whole Quilty friends.
Quilty friends. It will just suck you into the world. And so that's what happened. And I was at another retreat, and they had talked about how their quilt guild had been doing a round robin quilt. And I said, well, that sounds like fun. Have other friends help you make your quilt. And they said, oh, you should do it. And I said, I cannot be put in charge of this. Because you know how I am.
Right.
Too ADD to be put in charge of something. I can't do it. But I found like some people to do it with me. And I went home and pulled out an old pattern and designed like my center block for that round robin. And that's when I like experienced that rush in your soul with creativity. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I do.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you know what I'm saying here? Like, can you pick up what she's laying down?
Like, I remember looking and going, I did that. Like I saw it in my head, and look, it's like exactly, it's so perfect. That's exactly, and it was just like that whole, my soul is fed with needle and thread. It was like, it totally, do you know?
That's a good tagline.
Oh, yeah, I've never heard that one.
My soul is fed by needle and thread?
Yes, no. I was like, that's...
Is that on a t-shirt somewhere?
That's a popular phrase.
It is?
We're writing it down.
If there's not a t-shirt of that, don't make it, because I'm going to do it right now.
Right now.
My soul is fed by needle and thread. Love that.
Yeah, and so that's...
I keep hearing angels going, oh!
But it was like one of those. Yeah. It's like, oh, that... I understood that whole, like, my soul had been missing the creativity of doing something.
Yeah. So, neat. Cool. So how long ago was that?
Well, let's see. I've been at the lodge for 6 years. 7 years in September.
So you went to work at the lodge right after that?
Well, I worked for them for like 4.5, 5 years. And then they fired me because of my bad attitude.
So you got fired?
Yeah, and Troy said, well, are you gonna work again? Like, what do you want to do? And I said, I think I want to work at a quilt store. I think I want to work at the Quilters Lodge. And they just opened.
You didn't get fired from the Quilters Lodge.
No.
Okay,
I got fired from the.
You got fired from the peacemaking. I remember you told me about that.
Job,
the prototyping.
Yes.
You did have a very negative attitude. I think I remember. Just kidding.
Well, because they take away your creativity, and because it's all corporate and what will sell, and like, and even though, and my boss, if you know the color personalities.
Oh yeah.
My boss was a red.
Right.
Crimson red. Where I am a yellow. Happy.
Maroon. Have you heard that Taylor Swift song called Maroon? So red it was maroon. Is she kind of maroon then?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because like I always say I'm green because I'm yellow with a little blue.
Right.
She's red.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Like it never would have worked out for us, let's just say.
It wouldn't have worked out.
And thus I was fired.
And so you went to the Quilters Lodge.
So I went to the Quilters Lodge.
And you've been there how long?
7 years in September.
7 years.
This September. So 6.5 years.
6.5 years. Fun.
Yeah. And
I miss working in a quilt shop. So
it's a good time.
I loved it. Anyway. All right. Anything else about like making, mental health?
Well, I think it's important to let working in the quilt store. You see all different kinds of makers. Like we host professional people there.
Yeah.
And then we have people who are just starting. Like the poor girl yesterday. She's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. None of her seams matched. Her seam allowances were all even. It was not.
Did you give her a lesson?
I told her about our beginning quilting class that maybe we should take it.
Is Mary still teaching that?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Mary. She's great.
Yeah. So, but like you see the whole spectrum and so seeing the whole spectrum and all the different customers, I can see the customers who doubt themselves. Like they can be the most amazing quilter and they still doubt themselves. And it's
I think that's inherent. Well, I think it's inherent in women, especially.
Especially generation just older than us, for sure.
Yeah. And I think, anyway, I can think it's a state too. I mean, not the state, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, for sure.
The culture sometimes
yes,
causing women to doubt themselves. So
yes, for sure.
I think that's kind of one thing that I loved, that I have loved over the last, 5 years, 6 years I've been in the quilting industry, is I really tried to be a cheerleader for, don't apologize for your work.
Apologize.
Don't ever say I'm sorry. I'm getting the chills. Yeah. I do the same thing, but like I went to a quilt guild once, and we went to that meet. Did you go to that meetup with me? Yes. So we went to this meetup. We went to this meetup of Instagram people, and it was at someone's house, and they were all kind of our age, and younger. I'm probably the oldest of most of them, but anyway. And every single person, save maybe one,
except for me, every single person,
they would go, "Oh, I made this, but I'm sorry. Don't look too close at the seams, and it's just horrible. And if you look really closely," I'm like,
or they would hold up their masterpiece. I made this, but it's crap.
Yeah, what? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you spent hundreds of dollars, if not 1,000, on that.
Well, and the hours and the time, and
hundreds of dollars, hundreds of hours, and hundreds of emotional. Don't apologize.
Yeah, so I stood up with my quilt and did not apologize.
No, and then I made a point of saying, "Stop apologizing." And I still get mad at people.
But if we told you who was there, you'd be like, "How were they even complaining about their work? Because they were amazing."
Yeah, I mean, it was like the best of the best of Utah County. I mean, you're there. I hope you're
every
listening.
single one apologized.
I'm sorry. This is horrible. Don't look too close. I'm like,
or not even time to look at it.
Oh yeah.
What? Like I made this, but it was.
So, on my soapbox, stop apologizing.
Don't apologize.
Stop it.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. You're doing fine.
All it is practice.
Yeah, everything's practice.
Everything's practice.
That's a reminder for me too, as I'm making these silly quilt jackets and coats and stuff.
It's practice.
Just practice. I'm just having fun.
And if you finish it and you hate it, you give it to someone, they're gonna love it. They're gonna
like
love
that
it.
quilt, like that quilt right there. Hated it. Not really. Just didn't turn out. I spent a lot of time and energy on it, and I kind of want to enter into QuiltCon with the title "It Just Didn't Work."
It's not what I envisioned. It didn't work out.
It just didn't work. So anyway.
But that's why I loved when I would make my girls' dresses. Because the final step is putting the bodice to the skirt. And that turning it, flipping it inside out, and going. It is exactly how I wanted it.
Oh, I love that.
It is so perfect.
Yeah.
And turning it inside out and going, oh, that was too bulky, or that's so fun.
Oh, so yeah. Thank you. I love that. It's a journey, not a destination.
Not a destination.
Your finished product is not a reflection of you. It's just a finished product.
Well, and if you find your soul being fed by the needle and the thread.
Right.
And you want to start something small. That's the great thing about quilting, is there's always like a new technique, a new thing to learn, a new fabric combination that you hadn't thought of, a new,
Yeah.
Which is so fun about quilting.
Yeah. I just had a thought. Maybe I lost it already.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I keep hearing people being stuck. Have you seen that on social media as well? Like, at all?
Oh, where they feel like
I just lost my sojo. I can't.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not. Do you ever lose your sojo? Your sewing mojo? Like you just don't feel like doing anything? No.
I think there are people who want me to do something else.
Your husband, your children,
but
no, huh?
No, because there's always something.
There's always something to try.
There's always something.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah, I just have a hard time sometimes. Like, well, I think anyway.
No, but
I have so many things I want to do.
Oh yeah.
There's so many things I want to do
for sure,
and I just get stuck. Like that's what I'm thinking right now.
The long list of things that are in my head.
Yeah.
Things, and the problem with working at the quilt stores. There's always something new.
Yeah.
And like I go through
There's more cute fabric just came in.
So my cousin's daughter lives in New Mexico. Not a lot of quilt stores there.
My niece is there.
And so when she comes up, I de-junk my sewing room.
You just give it all to her?
And give it to her.
Oh.
Because, she will appreciate and love it.
Okay.
More than sitting in my cabinet. And so, like, I was cleaning out like, sometimes I've just given her scraps of a project I work on because she can make the scraps do amazing things. And I was going through my cabinet and I was pulling out full, like, quilt projects going, I don't even remember why I bought that.
Like, not your style, not your colors.
Well, like at the time I was all excited about it.
Yeah.
But there's always something new.
Right.
So then when you look back at the old, you're like, nah, it's not really who I am anymore.
Yeah.
Or that's not really what I really want to do anymore.
Remember the first one I made of this? The first outside?
It was so cute, though.
You're like, nope.
Well, I think it was, what was it? Was it the combination of the two?
I can't remember. It was just, it was fabric that was just 5 years or 10 years old.
Was it like pink?
No, it was greens and blues, teals. I have it somewhere still. But anyway, it was turquoise and lime. But it was just like, even the shades of colors changed slightly.
But I feel like it was more pastel than what Johnny is.
And I don't know. Anyway,
I think that's what
it was something that was like, I remember you just kind of like, it's not super cute. Let's do something new.
Yes.
But it's funny because you look at fabric that's like even 5 years old and it's just slightly, the colors are just slightly different than they are now, Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or 10 years, they just changed the hues. And even though they're brights, they don't quite look the same as the brights that we have today.
Oh, I had a customer and she brought in like her stash. Like she had made like a layer cake for herself to make a quilt. And I swear it was like from the 80s. Like,
which is coming back right now.
I mean, but like, those very warm blues and reds and.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you had that a minute. You've had that a minute.
A lady yesterday asked me if I wanted her old fabric, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll always take fabric, But
and she's been, maybe not.
But you never know. It might be fun. I like to upcycle, So
well, there's so many like thrift fabric.
Oh yeah.
Websites and stuff. I've gotten in trouble there.
Oh really?
Paper City Fabrics. Have you heard of Paper City Fabrics?
Paper City Fabrics.
PaperCityFabrics.com, people.
Should we put a little thing of that?
So what?
And that is what? Reselling?
It's like a thrift fabric store, and he's in New York or Pennsylvania. And he sells all of his fabric for $4 a yard.
Okay.
And I started following him thinking one day he's gonna get Tula Pink Neptune and not know what it is.
Oh.
And he's gonna say cute octopus fabric. Do you know what I mean?
But did he then?
No, but he got 1.25 yards of someone's cafe stash.
Oh.
So it was like all these old cafes for what, $5?
Wow.
$5 for a yard and a
Did
quarter.
you buy some?
Oh yes, I did. Oh yes, I did.
Someone that I follow on Instagram, she
and Allison Glass diving board he had. He didn't. It was like cute mermaid fabric.
Mermaid fabric.
That's Allison Glass diving board. Like it's more than $4 a yard.
Yeah, someone I follow on Instagram, she had this old, like 10 years old stash of cave stuff. And I think she's a pattern maker or something. I can't remember who she was, but she kept pulling out these things and I'm just like, that's gorgeous,
Yeah.
Because I haven't followed cave forever. And anyway, yeah. So anyway, I don't think she was trying to sell it, but she was just showing it off. Like,
well, and totally off topic.
Okay, go.
Dolce & Gabbana made this skirt. So we looked it up at work because someone was making a 5/4 skirt or something. And I pulled it up, $2,200 for this skirt that was so ugly. But I feel like if I remade it with cave fabric, it would be cute.
Oh, nice.
But it was like denim and brocade and.
Oh, was it patchwork?
Yes. Oh, okay. And it was like a patchwork.
Yeah.
With jeans with like the pockets and the waistband and then satin brocade. And I was like, that is hideous. Who's going to pay $2,800 for that skirt?
Somebody, hopefully.
It was like $1,900 on sale.
That's what I love about fashion right now is it's so quilty. Like there's so much patchwork and quilty in fashion right now.
And so then we were all making fun of this terrible, expensive, hideous skirt.
But did you make it yet?
No.
Oh.
But I was like, so then like the next day I'm like, if I made that with cave panels,
right,
that would be awesome.
Adorable.
That would be awesome.
You see that's my shirt collection right there.
I know.
Those are all the things I want to make a shirt out of.
Johnny asked me to make him a shirt once and I couldn't do it.
It's all right. I've asked a lot of people to help me make a shirt, but I made one finally. You saw it, right?
I saw it. Was cute. It was out of this guy.
No. Yes, that right. That
this one, yeah.
I think I've showed on here, but
you showed it on your Instagram.
Yeah. I'm not sure where it is right now, which is fine. Excuse me. I was gonna try to make more shirts for QuiltCon. It's coming up. I'm going to QuiltCon.
Oh, fun.
To advertise the podcast.
Fun.
Yeah. So I'm making some business cards up. I'm going to pass them out by making quilt coats rather than quilt shirt, like cute shirts, because I have limited time. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to make more jackets, hoodies, zip hoodies.
They're so cute.
You saw the pink one, right?
Yeah, you sent me the picture of the pink one.
Did I show it to you though?
No.
I mean, you didn't see life in life.
No, you just showed me it like.
I was going to grab it really quick.
Done the side seams.
We're still recording. Will you just talk for a second? I always say that.
I'm just going to leave you unattended.
Yeah, just talk for just 2 seconds. Just say, hey, my name's Robyn.
Don't really know what to talk about. No. But if you're new to quilting, keep going because it's a fun journey. Remember to be awesome in all things because nobody remembers the ordinary. They only remember the awesome.
So there's the shirt.
There's your shirt.
I did.
Oh, you did finally put the button holes.
I put in buttonholes.
That's so cute. You made them all different colors.
I made them a rainbow, so you can't
cute.
quite see there. But darling. A rainbow button. And then I did every button different too.
As one
My
should.
sister brought, and they're huge. I didn't realize I was doing it so big.
They're cute vintage ones.
They're all from, that's Desigual, that brand Desigual. So my sister brought them home from Spain, from her friend in Spain. So they're like, a lot of them are like fancy clothier buttons, you know? And they're all in this bowl, so everyone can go like this.
As one should.
Doesn't everybody love like good bowl of buttons? So you can just go like that with your...
Mine are in mason jars, but now I'm thinking I should maybe just put them in... Because
find
Becky
a trifle bowl. Do you have a trifle bowl?
Oh, mini.
So this was at the Savers, hand quilted. It was like $8.99, but it had a big hole right in the middle. So I put that right there. And I'm going to kind of try to fix that with like some gold or something. You know that Japanese form of pottery?
Yeah, I know what you're talking.
So I put a binding on the hood.
There's holes throughout it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of holes. So that's why I didn't feel so bad making it into a jacket. But I'm going to put in a zipper first. The zipper. I'm going to do a zipper. Brave. I know, I've never done a zipper.
I have faith in you.
What's that?
I have faith in you.
Yeah? Okay. Hopefully I'll get some tips on zippers before you go.
But are you binding it and then putting the zipper over the binding?
Is that how I should do it? I've been trying to figure out the best way to do it.
I think you want the drama of the binding, right?
Yes.
So I think if you just gotta did the binding bound it all and then just to put the zipper tape behind the binding and just sewed it on. I was
thinking about doing overlapping it slightly. Maybe so when I put the zipper in, letting it overlap a little bit.
Gotcha.
So that just one binding shows when it's zipped.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be good.
Right?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Maybe you can help me before you go.
We'll discuss.
Thank you. Okay. Let's talk self-care. Do you do anything for self-care?
In which sense?
I don't know. I'm having deja vu, so that's good.
I know.
Do you take a bath?
No.
Do you light candles? Do you go shopping? I don't know. Do you get a massage? Pedicure? Manicure? What I hear you saying is it doesn't sound like you do very much for self-care, Robyn.
Well, I do.
You sew?
I sew to let my creativities out. I started taking like, you're gonna laugh at me, John.
No, there's no laughing.
I started taking the nootropic mushrooms, like the gummies.
Mushroom gummies?
Yeah.
Okay.
See?
Where do you get these things?
Well, online, but it's like a natural. Like if you studied mushrooms.
I've heard all about mushrooms.
And like the lion's mane mushrooms.
Yeah.
Helps with your brain and all this other. And so I was like, okay. I've seen the document. I'm gonna try it. And it's helped. And it sounds weird.
No.
But like we tried the prescriptions, and it didn't really work.
Prescriptions for what?
Well, like the ADD prescriptions.
Okay.
But the mushrooms have helped.
Okay.
And I know it sounds.
No, I love this. Will you send me the link? I'm serious though.
But like the first time I was like, okay, we're gonna try this. It's probably not gonna work.
Robyn's doing shrooms. We'll just say that. It's fine.
Not crazy.
Not that kind of shrooms.
Not those kind. But like.
That's great.
And then I took it and I was like, I actually feel better.
Oh.
Like lighter. Almost in a sense.
I want to try them seriously though. Like, I'm having a really hard time right now.
Don't do that.
I know I'm just having a hard time right now.
And
so I'm trying. I'm trying.
Remember, you're awesome.
Thanks. It's just
that's what I said when you went.
I heard. I walked in and you said, "People will remember the awesome." What did you say?
That's what I like when I drop my kids off to school. I scream at them to embarrass them thoroughly.
Okay.
To be awesome.
Be awesome.
Because I mean, if you think back on high school and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're in high school, you're so concerned with like the cheerleader and the popular people and do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But when you leave high school, then you realize those were just ordinary people. There wasn't really anything.
Everyone puts their pants on one
about
leg at a time, as far as you know.
I remember my friend Steve, who we all called Spike, because he had a mohawk that went up 9 inches in the,
Mm-hmm.
Like I would rather my kids know their true self and know that they want their hair to be spiked up,
right,
than to go along with the crowd and just be ordinary.
Yeah, I love that.
So, be awesome.
Go be awesome. Don't be ordinary.
Don't be ordinary.
Okay, here I am. I'm trying.
No, there's no try.
Okay, I'm doing it.
There's no try, only do.
Okay. Go be awesome.
Go be awesome.
I love that. Go be awesome. That's great. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. What are you working on right now? Store samples.
Store
we talked about that.
Store sample. Although, for years and years, even like before I started at the Quilters Lodge and before when I worked at my other job and my creativity was like being suppressed. My little light was being snuffed out. I wanted to start because I
love that analogy as well. Light being snuffed out.
I wanted to start a blog for heirloom sewing. And I never did it. Because the self-doubts. Yeah. Like, what do I have to offer?
Are you gonna
But I have like the whole library of the So Beautiful magazines. Because Grandma Calf. She's a collector. And so she collected those for me.
I don't know what So Beautiful magazines are.
So Beautiful magazine was a children's sewing magazine. And it
sewing for children?
So it taught you
not teaching children how to sew, but sewing for children.
Like it taught the smocking.
Yes,
it gave the patterns for the smocking and the patterns.
I'm just clarifying if somebody doesn't know. I'm sorry. Keep going.
So I've often thought of doing that, but like that's something I think would be fun to
stop thinking
work on,
about
but
it.
then
Yeah. Okay, I get it.
You go to work every day and you come home and then you have to do this.
Yeah.
And then to pull out the actual pleater and get all the needles.
Right.
Do you know what
all
I mean?
The things, yeah.
It's like, oh, that will be so great. And then you start going through all the steps you have to do it.
Like, hey, I should start a blog or I should start a podcast.
And here you are.
I started a blog once.
I had a blog once when the girls were little.
I couldn't imagine how these people, and I guess I still marvel at that, is like, how are you coming up with something almost on a weekly basis to make?
Right.
And then it's just not in my DNA. I mean,
well, I don't think that's true.
I love making things, But the pressure, I just felt so much pressure to be like, it's going to be new and all these things. Anyway, I just felt so much pressure.
But I think that's for anybody when you want to try something new.
Yeah.
As, you know, like me, like I've had this idea for probably 10 plus years. Have I done it? No.
Well, I believe.
Should I do it? Probably.
I believe that ideas like that are given to us for a reason, but that's just me. Robyn, is there a cause that you're passionate about that if everyone listening right now sent $1, that would make you happy, that would bring you some joy? So is there any sort of cause, organization?
Well, like you sent me this list of questions for me to, and this was the one that got me all flustered.
Oh, really?
Like I don't really think I follow a great cause.
Okay, that's fine.
But you know, with nonprofits and stuff, like not all the money that you give goes to the cause.
Right. Yeah.
So I like the Mercury One charity because all of the money goes to the cause. Like they have a big gala where they get all the administration money and then everything else. So right now they're raising money for the earthquake in Turkey and Syria.
Okay, Mercury One. So mercuryone.org. Okay, I've never heard of that.
It's a conservative group, but like if you give them $5, that $5 will go.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Like 100% of the proceeds go to.
Yeah, and I've heard that as well.
And they helped get people out of Afghanistan 2 years ago. Like they were paying for flights from the charity to save those people in Afghanistan. So
okay, well, I'm going to put the link to that in the comment. Not
that nonprofits are all bad, but
I pick up what you're laying down.
But I like.
You hear a lot about that, though.
Yeah,
there is a lot of. I mean, there's obviously costs that go along with people running a nonprofit, but yes, if they can do something to offset that.
Like I think I heard once that the Susan G. Komen, all its advertising, all the money, all the sponsorships, only like 10% actually goes.
Okay. I'm not trying to slam anyone.
I'm not slamming. I'm just saying. You can look it up. I could be wrong. It could be more than that. But it's just what I've heard. And if I'm giving my money, I want it to go to
Mercury One. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's Robyn's cause. So if you want to donate, I'm going to put a link in the comments section. And there you go.
That's all the questions.
That's all the questions. Anything else that you can think of?
I don't know. Like Aubrey said, we could be here for 5 hours.
Well, we're going on an hour, so I think it's probably good.
See?
Okay.
Proof.
Yeah. All right.
About way too many things.
I love it. This is exactly what I've had in mind for this podcast right here. Is chatting with a friend. So thank you. Thank you.
Anytime.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
I really
Eagle
appreciate
Mountain is far away from Bountiful.
Eagle Mountain is far, but I've come to your house a couple times.
It's true. It's true.
And a couple times not even to see you. I'm sorry. I have customers out there, and cousins, nieces, nephews.
You don't have
my niece used to.
You wouldn't like. I've come to Bountiful and not seen you too, so it's okay.
Just kidding. All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed yet, do so right there or wherever it is. Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Yes.
You can follow Robyn on Instagram if you want, unless your account's private. If your account's private,
no, my account's not private.
Robyn Tischner on Instagram, or take your class at the Quilter's Lodge.
At the Quilter's Lodge in May.
And if you're ever in the Quilter's Lodge, just drop in, say hi. She's usually there with a warm smile and a helpful.
It's true. I'll help you.
Like I was in there the other day for that so long, and there was that lady with that super cute scrappy quilt, remember? And you were trying to help her find. She had the block exchange with all of her friends, and I was like, "This is adorable." So I was trying to help out for a minute on choosing colors,
and then you're like, "Oh, I miss working in the quilt store."
Oh, I miss working in the quilt store. So fun.
So fun.
I love my quilty friends, definitely. All right. Thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right. Be kind to one another, everyone.
And be awesome.
And be awesome. Be kind and be awesome. All right. Thanks again, Robyn.
You're welcome.